Assalamualaikum to Dr. Amir Ihsan. We are from Group Researchology. So the title for our project is Perception of Experiencing on Using Technology Towards Online Learning in Rural and Urban Area, a study among students. So the COVID-19 outbreak has forced the education system throughout the world to close, putting studies related in threat. So to keep the educational activities continuing, most schools and colleges have switched to the online learning platform. So the study is to to investigate the perception of using technology towards online learning in rural and urban areas among students. So this study were to explore more about technology or platform that students use based on their perception and practice. So these research methods in this study are survey and questionnaire methods. So a questionnaire consisting of several questions regarding to the behavior of respondent and their opinion on this issue. And survey were measured using a scale measure with 5 scale options. So this research scope is a small scale and involved 100 respondents among students. So the purpose of conducting this research was to determine what technology tools to students in rural and urban areas use to continue their online learning, to identify the difficulties to students in rural and urban area faces when using technology for online learning, and to determine if there are any students in both rural and urban areas who will be satisfied with the online learning if technology is used. I will pass to the next member to present.
The introduction chapter will assist readers in identifying the research that the researchers will do. It includes information about the student's context, background, and issue statement, as well as the study research objectives and research questions and questionnaire. The numerous words of online learning refer to the learning experience that is so popular nowadays. Because of the COVID-19, the study around the world moved to online learning using platforms. So the education is clearly one of the most important aspects of society development. Students, on the other hand, must have solid abilities and be protective with the forward-thinking mindset. Learning environment also play an important part in learning and the area where the students lives. That we can see one of the biggest challenges for education policymaker and planner is the use of information and communication technology in online learning, using low-income communication around the world that help urban area the most one. This is that technology enables solutions are important and made it fit into what are often much more challenging environment. Therefore, this research study is contextually an investigation the difference between using technology in a urban area and rural area. Moving to related works. Over time, technology has challenged our environment and lives by providing us with amazing tools and resources. First one we are talking about here is flexibility and comfort. Distance is one of the most important obstacles prevents rural students from accessing higher education because of COVID-19 virus. If a student has to travel long distance to get a college education, he is unlikely to make the effort. Instead, this student can pursue online education at their own pace, in their own time, and from the comfort of their own home. Next one is affordability. Basically, universities and even some online universities charge student fees and out-of-state many fees at the cost of the room and board and changing the place of his stay can be pretty expensive for some students from both areas and urban and rural area. But the change of physical education to online learning due to COVID-19 has shown us that online learning offers students the opportunity to create their own community, replacing all the charge and expensive stuff from traveling and moving to a new area. Third one of related works is break the barriers. With this changing the flexibility and affordability for students that can break the barriers between urban area student and rural area, so they can make their own community far apart from each other and learn from each other. Thank you. Move to the next one.
I will. My name is Farah Elizabeth Fauzi. My metric number 271273. So I will continue with the methodology. So at this methodology, first we have participant. The population that we have collected in the student from University Utara Malaysia in rural and urban areas. A total of 100 students from University Utara Malaysia College of Business, which is COB, College of Art and Science, which is CAS, and College of Law, Government and International Studies, which is Colgis, that participate in this survey. We use a questionnaire method to distribute our survey in the UUM student in rural and urban area. This questionnaire was conducted through Google Form, and the link was distributed to the respondent through social media platforms such as WhatsApp, Twitter, and Instagram. The second methodology is research instrument. The study employ a statistics item questionnaire which is consists of five main sections, namely section 1, demographic respondent, section 2, objective 1, section 3, objective 2, and section 4 is objective 3. For the section 1 is designed for collecting demographic respondent, while section 2, 3 and 4 were designed based on our objective study. So the first section have 6 questions about the demographic respondent, information including the participant. The second section is consists of 2 close-end question and 8 item on a Likert scale, which is 1 for strongly agree, 2 for disagree, 3 for neutral, 4 for agree, and 5 for strongly agree. So the third section consists of 6 items in the Likert scale and had 4 quantitative questions. For the final section consists of 8 items on a Likert scale and have 2 quantitative questions. The last methodology that we use is validity test and reliability test. For the validity test, a pilot study we use to test a questionnaire reliability using a smaller sample compared to the planned sample size. The pilot study have 100 participants to achieve the targeted respondent. The survey was distributed to students in rural and urban areas from University Utara Malaysia. Each approach gained successfully from students in rural and urban areas by obtaining their perception and behavior on using technology during online learning to carry out our research. So the reliability test was analyzed by using the content validity index, which is CVI. In this reliability test, every question is evaluated by one. It consists of 4 aspects in total, and the conclusion whether the questionnaire is relevant or not was decided to the scale from 1 to 4. If the average score is from 3 to 4, then it means the question is reliable and may proceed to the data collection. So the relevancy and clarity are calculated from expert from expert evaluation by using the formula S1 R divided C, which is relevancy divided clarity. In section 1 question, we got the relevancy and clarity is 1.0, and for section 2 is 0.925, and the section 3 is 0.9, and section 4 is 1.0. So from this result, we can conclude that the reliability test is over 0.9, which is stand for excellent, which is acceptable.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nohanis binti Abdul Jabbar, method number 269573, and I will continue with data analysis. Okay, so for the section A, which is demographic respondent, majority of the students were likely to answer this survey is female, which is 52%, and age between 21 and 22, which is 62%. And for the semester, majority of the student is semester 1, which is 41%. And for the school, majority of the student who likely to answer this survey is from College of Business, which is COB, then for 44%. And the last is area. So majority of the student is from urban area, which is 62%. So for the section B, which is the use technology, the technology tools students in rural and urban area use to continue their online learning. For the first statement, majority of the students use internet connection, use Wi-Fi as their internet connection, which is 75%. And for the statement 2, majority of the students use laptop, which is 96%. And for statement 3, majority of the students strongly agree, which is that laptop is the main device that students use during online learning, which is 76%. For the statement 4, which is Google Drive is the best platform for doing assignment, and majority of the students is strongly agree. And for the statement 5, majority of the students choose strongly agree. And next is PowerPoint is the best tool for doing slide presentation during online learning. Majority of the students choose strongly agree, which is 51%. And for the statement, during online learning, Google Doc is one of the tools that students use for group assignment. Majority of students choose strongly agree, which is 55%. And for statement 8, which is WhatsApp is the preferred medium for sharing material lesson during online learning. Most of the students choose strongly agree, which is 69%. And next statement is Cisco Webex meetings to interact with lecturer during my online learning class. And for this statement, most of the students choose strongly agree, which is 74%. And the last statement for the section B, which is UM online learning is a tool that students frequently use to submit assignment and download learning material during online learning. Most of the students choose strongly agree, which is 77%. So I will pass to the next member. Thank you.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. Can you guys hear me? So my name is Nazila binti Ramli with metric number 273773, and I will continue the data analysis for section C and D. So section C is to identify the difficulties that students in rural and urban areas face when using technology for online learning. So as for the first question is device cannot install any application related to any work. Okay, so there is a balanced answer from the respondents. We can see here that 26% is in a neutral part and 26% also in a disagree, and 20% of them strongly disagree, and we have 20% of them also agree with the statement, and 8% of the respondent are agree with the statement. As we can see here, device that been used by the students is different. So different answer have been responded by the respondent. Next. Okay, as for the second statement is a device always cannot access when trying to answer online quizzes and exams. Okay, so as you can see here that 33% of the respondents are on a neutral part and 31% disagree with the statement. So it means that not everyone are having problems trying to access to quizzes and exams, but there are some who are agree with the statement which they have problems to attempt to the quizzes. I believe that this problem occurred when the device is not up to date and the traffic jams when all the students trying to attempt it at the same time make the device cannot support it. So I believe that this is the problem.
Zila,
Yes.
Zila hang just cakap paling tinggi je. Sebab sekarang pukul 2.38.
Okay.
Cakap benda-benda ni je, okay?
Okay. Okay. So I will proceed to the third question, which is have some knowledge on using technology during online classes. Okay, so 41% agree with the statement. Yes. We can move to the next question. And having experienced some technical issues that happens when in online classes, and 43 of them strongly agree that they have faced the technical issues during online classes. And then as for the fifth question is using only technology during online learning make them lose focus and become drowsy. And 33% of them also strongly agree with the statement. Next. Okay, so the next statement is online learning makes it difficult for them to interact with their friends. So as you can see here, 35% of the respondents strongly agree with this statement. Next. Okay, let's move on to the qualitative part. The technology that the student use to get the knowledge using technology are mostly the student use YouTube and Google. And for the next question is the difficulties that they face when they are doing a group meeting discussion. So the most thing that they have stated in the Google form is miscommunication among the group members, and I believe this is due to the unstable internet connection, which is the second most answered in the by the respondents. Next. Okay, so the next question is other difficulties that students face when using technology for online learning are a non-conducive learning atmosphere, and then because of internet connection, and also because the problem that they are losing focus easily. And then the next question is the recommendation for the next question is the recommendation for overcoming the challenges of using technology during online learning are they need to find a new location with a good internet connection, or they can use new devices or change to a new telco with better internet speed. Next. Okay, so we move on to section D, which is to determine if there are any students in both rural and urban areas who will be satisfied with online learning if technology is used. So the first question for the quantitative data is they are satisfied with the device that they use during online learning, and 43% of them are strongly agree with this statement. Next. The second question is whether they are satisfied with the meeting platform that they use during online learning. And we can see here that 47% of the respondents strongly agree with this statement. And then moving to the next question is they think the performance of technology use will be better if they live in urban area. But somehow this is the respondent believe that strongly agree that they strongly agree with the statement that they will be better if the performance technology will be better if they live in urban area. Next. Okay, so the fourth question is whether they think that they will have a better chance to have a better choice of devices if they live in urban area. And 43% of them strongly agree with this statement. And then the next question is the satisfaction of lesson knowledge gained through online learning using technology is similar to face-to-face learning. Okay, so the answer is varies, and then but most of them are in a natural part of it. Next. As an ideal learning platform, student recommended technology such as Cisco WebEx meeting to use during online learning. And then 41% of the respondents strongly agree with this statement. And moving to the next question is whether they are satisfied with using technology during online learning to improve productivity and achievement in assignments. And 39% are agree with this statement. Next. Overall, they are satisfied with the technology used to continue studies during online learning, such as Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, and so on. And 44% of them are strongly agree with this statement. And then we move on to the qualitative part, the weaknesses of the device that they use and how they're planning to improve the weaknesses are when the device keep on lagging, they might change their device to a better performance device, and then their devices doesn't have much storage and they plan to buy a new SSD card that have a lot of storage. And as for the Wi-Fi connection, also they need a better speed internet connection. Next. This is the last question for this section. The weaknesses of meeting platform that they use and how they're planning to improve the weaknesses is by the meeting platform that they use is Google Meet, and the weaknesses is it doesn't have a record function. And the next meeting platform is WebEx, which is kind of heavy to run, so it slows down their computer, and Zoom sometimes cannot share the slides. So I think that is all for me. Thank you, and we move on to the next part. Next presenter.
Okay, for the part discussion, the study was designed to evaluate the perception of using technology among UUM students in rural and urban areas. We do this survey nowadays. All countries mostly use technology to conduct online learning. So in discussing this issue, we might explore what kind of technology students use to work online learning and how this technology can help students to continue their studies. Then for the discussing objective one is to determine what technology tools do students in rural and urban area use to continue their online learning. So the laptop was the most popular electronic device for online classes of respondents using it, while smartphone were the second most popular electronic device for online classes. The majority students strongly agree with the statement Google Drive is the best platform for doing assignment. So we can see that WhatsApp also have preferred medium for sharing material lesson during the online learning. So the Cisco WePad also has the main tool used by UUM students to interact with lecturer during online learning. Almost all UUM students strongly agree with UUM online learning is a tool that UUM students frequently use to submit their assignment and download their learning material online learning. So I will pass to the next member.
The second objective is to identify the difficulty that students in rural and urban areas face when using technology on online learning. So we can conclude that the most of the devices that UM students use for online classes can install or do not work when it relates to their work. So the majority of the UM students faces some technical issues that happen to them when they're in online classes, such as Wi-Fi disconnecting or maybe their laptop suddenly shutting down. So by using the technology, most of the UM students also agree that they can lose focus, become drowsy, and we can agree on this because the average schedule for student classes is 6 to 7 hours a day. So unstable or slow internet connection is a major issue that causes difficulty to have a communication with their friends. YouTube and Google are the technology that UM students use to get knowledge related to their studies. And besides that, they just sit on the chair and face their laptop for hours, which can cause tired eyes. So the majority of the UM students also agree that they are facing difficulties interacting or communicating with their friends when online learning. So for the objective 3 is to determine if there are any students in both rural and urban area who will be satisfied with online learning if the technology is used. So most of the students are satisfied with devices such as laptops and smartphones that are used during learning because it is easy to find information and communicate with friends and lecturers even in the distant learning. So majority are satisfied with the meeting platform that they are used during online learning. For example, the meeting platform that they use in class is Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Webex, Zooms, and so on. So this is because the majority of the student in rural area receive a lower quality educations than student in urban area. So student background also have an impact on their performance as evidenced by the fact that many students who live in rural areas have lower academic performance when compared to students who live in urban areas. So the findings show that some of the students agree, and strongly agree with the satisfaction of lesson knowledge gained through online learning using technology similar to face-to-face learning. So this is because they have this different situation. So this is because they have different situation or different thinking with this statement that gain knowledge through online learning and face-to-face learning is similar. So as ideal learning platform, most UM students strongly agree and will recommend technologies such as Cisco Webex meeting used during online learning. So this is because Cisco Webex meeting are user-friendly and easy to use. So for the conclusion part, online learning was determined to be useful since it offers learning's flexibility and convenience. So based on the research, we discovered the need for interactive session at the conclusion of each lesson with quizzes and assignment to maximize the learning experience. So to make an online lesson more useful and productive for the learner, all of these criteria should be taken into consideration while constructing it. So all the objective that we are studying in this research, we are able to achieve so that we are targeting by concluding the most of the student will have at least problems and technical issues while in the online classes. So that's it for our group. Thank you.